Aries. Aries symbol patience is in short supply today with Mars opposing Uranus, dear Aries. Matters of income or debt can frustrate you, or you feel tense about being dependent on someone's support or approval. You could be craving more financial freedom. Taking a calculated risk is one thing, and jumping into something blind is another. If the stakes are low, not much can be lost, except perhaps a bit of pride. If the stakes are high, wait for a day when your judgment and patience are improved. Whatever the case may be, essential changes that put you back into the driver's seat are imminent. The temptation may be to take quick action, and this can be great if you're in touch with your heart, but it may not be wise if you haven't given something enough thought or if you're acting from a place of ego. Watch for impulsiveness related to personal finances or an intimate relationship. Listen to any buried desires that emerge now, but try not to act on sudden impulses that seem to come out of nowhere. Clear out the junk now, carefully and respectfully, so that you can begin attracting enlightening, fresh, and positive experiences. Taurus. Taurus symbol: if you've been feeling restricted, things can reach ahead today, dear Taurus, as Mars, currently transiting your partnership sector, opposing Uranus. Asserting your independence is your knee-jerk reaction with Uranus in your sign these days, but it's important to avoid dramatic actions. This influence occurs approximately every 2 years and is a time for releasing frustrations, but doing so mindfully is important. It's possible that events today leave you feeling offended or blocked, or you clash with someone, particularly about matters of autonomy. Pace yourself and avoid recklessness to prevent accidents or arguments. While your energy is up and down, you might harness it to do something creative or productive, and if you manage, you could move mountains. Gemini. Gemini symbol: Mars transiting your solar 6th house has been helpful and challenging at once, dear Gemini. You can get through your work with enthusiasm, but you might also take costly shortcuts or display impatience with others. Today, the latter tendency is strong with an opposition occurring between Mars and Uranus. This transit stirs buried frustration and unresolved matters. Watch for a tendency to act out in ways that get you in trouble, as you may unknowingly take on the role of instigator. You could find yourself fixated on wanting closure on a matter. People can be a little temperamental today, and it's probably better if you remain flexible with schedules and plans, as they may not be running smoothly. Refuse to allow impatience to rule the day, even if the pace around you is hectic or if routines are frustrating. Avoid pushing your body too hard, but do release frustration through creative channels such as safe exercise. Cancer. Cancer symbol: people can be on a short fuse today with Mars opposite Uranus, dear Cancer. If you've felt blocked or limited, you'll want to break free today. While you should watch for impatience or impulsiveness, there can be a chance to put a problem behind you. Keep your wits about you, and aim to be assertive, not rebellious. Avoid short-sighted decision-making for best results. Feelings and desires can emerge abruptly, but you can choose to express them calmly for better results. If something is building inside you that needs a release, finding healthy ways to do so can be cleansing. People in your life may be unreliable at the moment, or your social life can feel like a bit of a roller coaster. It's also possible that you're undecided about a friendship, and you're sending, or receiving, mixed signals. Stubborn or rebellious behavior is a strong possibility now, whether it's you or a friend who's the instigator. Aim to be assertive rather than rebellious. That way, you're living your life on your terms rather than living life in reaction to others. Leo. A Mars-Uranus opposition aspect today can bring on a feeling of being fed up with restrictive conditions, dear Leo. Areas most affected relate to family, home, work, and responsibilities. Something that's been brewing inside of you needs a release, or a problem comes to a head, and you're not putting up with it any longer. A conflict involving family or work-family balance is possible. Responsibilities are strong on you, and you may be vying for particular freedoms. It's important to know yourself and what anger or resentment is brewing inside you, as these things can be triggered today. Free yourself of things that are holding you back from success, but do so prudently. Assess risks carefully, and aim to be as tolerant as possible. Do your best not to react from a place of rebellion, which can be a knee-jerk reaction, and avoid abruptness or a defiant attitude for best results. Seek creative or productive ways to release pent-up frustrations. Virgo. While it can be a time to experience new and exciting changes, dear Virgo, there can be some stress today as your needs for variety, independence, and freedom can dominate. Mars opposes Uranus now, and mundane tasks capture your attention, but the urge to get out and about is bound to grab hold of you as well. Finding a balance can be difficult but necessary to regain peace of mind. Avoid letting others force a change on you. Instead, be as honest as you can with yourself and identify what you need to do to move forward. Holding on too tightly to a specific method, belief, or point of view may not be worth the tension. Know when to let go, and avoid pushing. Short-sightedness can be a problem, but your strong desire to put something behind you could work in your favor with some mindfulness. Sitting on anger might invite mishaps, accidents, and arguments. Sounding off or rushing out angry messages can cause real damage. As such, it's best to seek a middle ground. Libra. With Mars in your solar second house these days, you're more inclined than usual to stand your ground, assert your needs, and defend your honor, dear Libra. If others are not doing their share or if you can't entirely rely on someone or a source of support, you're likely to express your frustration. Today's Mars-Uranus opposition can bring tension to a head. The temptation is to react quickly and perhaps rebelliously, and while the shock value of this might have a few desirable effects, a more mindful approach to frustrations has better odds. A conflict over financial or ownership issues can emerge, or you could be driven to reveal a secret and release tension that has been building. This is a time to think carefully about your life and consider ways to free yourself of restrictions holding you back from happiness. A fresh start can only happen after clearing out resentment and other negatively charged energy. Try not to depend on others for answers and resolutions today, which keeps you in a state of unrest. Look for ways to manage your outlook instead. Scorpio. With Mars in your sign opposing Uranus today, dear Scorpio, you may be in reaction mode, especially if someone is trying to tell you what to do. However, it's better to keep your head rather than act impulsively or out of anger. Others may seem unreliable today, or they could bring surprises that bother you. Conflicts with a partner, special friend, or advisor may present themselves. If someone tries to box you in or shows displays of independence, you are likely to make it known that you are going your own way. You want to cut difficult situations from your life, seeking to put them behind you, but it's best not to do so too abruptly. Try not to put unrealistic pressure or time limits on something that doesn't need to be rushed. This is a time for clearing the decks so that you can go forward with more confidence and less burden. Sagittarius. With a Mars-Uranus transit today, dear Sagittarius, tensions run high if you feel restricted. Something could trigger buried anger or resentment, which can very well be an overloaded or change of schedule. If you're unsure whether to be direct with others, impatience can be a byproduct. Pushing yourself beyond your limits can lead to various health complaints, so do your best to learn what those limits are. If you can manage it, try to work independently or arrange things so that you can work at your own pace. There is a tendency to act or react without considering the consequences, but behind this is an important issue that has been building, needing release. How you clear the air determines whether this is disruptive or helpful. Express yourself in some way, but try to do so constructively. Try not to be an agitator, but don't be a doormat either. Find a balance, and deal with issues so that they don't negatively impact your health, energy, and work. Capricorn. A Mars-Uranus transit today tends to stir up buried desires, dear Capricorn. If you can manage to keep impatience and impulsiveness at bay, it can be an excellent time to discover what you can no longer tolerate and need to put behind you. However, it's best to avoid taking unnecessary risks. Passions run high, but sudden urges and desires may be more about inner unrest than inner truth. There can be erratic behavior in others or sudden events that take you by surprise. A clash or conflict can arise now related to romance, the pursuit of pleasure, or friends. Energy in your social life is intense. Let restlessness push you to make positive changes and improvements, or to release adverse situations or frustrations and put them behind you. It would be wise to guard against gambling and taking risks. Be patient with yourself and others. If you need to clear the air, try to do so in the most positive way. Aquarius. There may be obstacles or people standing in the way of the path to your goals, dear Aquarius, and it can be challenging to keep your temper today. You're focusing on how you think things should be but too impatient for these things to materialize right now. Double check that you're not expecting too much too soon. Crankiness can stem from inner restlessness and a desire to break free from restrictive circumstances, signaling the need to release pressure. As well, frustrations today can alert you to the need to understand yourself and your desires better. If you've been hotly pursuing something but aren't honestly sure in your heart that you want it, then you're likely to feel a little off-kilter now. Watch for impulsive or hot-headed moves and short-sighted decisions, and listen to your heart instead. Be honest about what's bothering you, but keep things cool. Recently buried and building frustrations can surface, but if handled well, they help clear a path for you to start again feeling fresh and unburdened. Pisces. Mars opposes Uranus today, dear Pisces, and can serve to pull up buried desires or resentments. This transit seems to encourage you to release pent-up frustrations, but it's best not to do so in a disruptive manner. Inner discontent is possible if you want to branch out but find it challenging to get where you want to go, possibly due to disorganization in your daily life or upset schedules. Disagreements can put you in the position that you'd rather go your own way, and others may be challenging your independence or freedom, or you perceive things this way. While frustrations are real and probably have been building, it's how you handle them at this critical time that will determine whether you go forward refreshed or bothered. Be a little more cautious than usual with mechanical things, communications, and getting around, as impatience can trip you up. Try to avoid extensive shortcuts that can cost you. Watch for the temptation to sound off if something communicated frustrates you. However, if you need a push to make a change, and you're confident it's coming from the heart and not from pride or a whim, then this can be a time to break free.